begin the program. I know you came here for the great food, and I think it's appropriate that we give a big hand to the kitchen staff. Some volunteers that helped set this up. Anyway, I'd like to begin by introducing Dr. Richard Panzer, who will say a few words before our main speaker. So please welcome up Dr. Richard Panzer.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Aren't you glad you got up this morning?
Yeah.
Aren't you glad that you actually breathed in a breath of air? Yeah. Think about it. It's a good start to your day. You breathed. Okay, it's my pleasure to introduce Bob and Dorothy Bierly. I mean, this Our Town, it's like a little magazine. I guess it's like a magazine, right? So there's some really great writing in this. This article in the latest edition, there's something good in this world, and it's worth fighting for.
Oh, yeah.
Can we agree? Is that true or is that true? I can't make up my mind which one. Right? And it's very moving here. And he writes about Lord of the Rings, and Frodo and Sam. They're struggling. They feel insufficient for the challenge. But I'm sure many of us feel the same way, right? But the scene was from Lord of the Rings. I believe it was The Return of the King. It is not life that mimics great books or great movies. It is just the opposite. It is life that lends to books and movies. The true heroism that lies in men and women around the world. Nobody wants hard times. No one wants to live their life amidst evil and destruction and death. We all long for the peacefulness and moments of tranquility of our home life. For those hobbits in the book of The Lord of the Rings, it was the Shire, where they grew up in days where full of laughter, friendship, and family, where evil had been laid to rest, where war was a distant memory. Anyway, this is really good stuff, so I highly recommend this. I know I was having breakfast with this wonderful couple here from Lake Village, and they've been reading this for years, but they never had a chance to meet the Bierlys, so it's exciting for them to see who's this mysterious writer here. Huh? Yeah, right, exactly. And then, so I'd like to invite Bob up here. I'd like to give a copy of Bob, Pastor Sean's new book, Our Father Forsaken, which is very much on the same wavelength about how American Christians, we're really in danger of abandoning the God of the Bible, and how we have to stand up and be brave again. So that, of course, is what Bob is all about. So let's welcome Bob Bierly.
Nobody likes to start a speech or talking with having to accuse somebody of stretching the truth or lying. I am not a good speaker. It's very, very kind of you to say that, but I enjoy writing much more than I do speaking. Because when I'm writing, I've got time to think about what I want to say. I can amend it, I can change it. When you're standing up in front of people, it's a one-shot deal. You either hit it or you don't. Faith. All of us are here, we're all on the same page. We believe in God. We believe in God's miracles. We believe that the lives we live are on so many different levels a testament to our faith. Nobody goes through life where it's peaceful and calm. We all have our stories. We all have our stories of struggles, and whether it's on a family level or a community level or a national level, some of us are just blessed with ending up in some of the most ridiculous situations and the most ridiculous battles. And one time when I was praying, Dorothy and I, throughout our entire lives, we were talking about this, it was not that long ago, about just at once or at some time in our lives to be able to be at rest and at peace. We think about our parents, and they kept their struggles and what they had to face away from us. They protected us. And while Dorothy and I were talking about this, I realized that it's not our lives where we find peace. It's not our lives where we find the calm seas. Our lives are always in turmoil. It's through God, through our faith, that we find peace and we find tranquility amongst the insanity, in between all the crazy things that are going on in our lives. And I found that Dorothy and I have gone through just recently some stuff where, battling the IRS and just crazy, insane stuff, where we could have lost everything we had. And at that time, there were other complications coming in. And one of the things we're constantly learning about God and God's greatness. And one of the things I found is God is a doorway. There were times that Dorothy and I were looking at obstacles that not in 6 months or in a year, but in 30 days that we had to correct, and we had to rectify. 30 days, and there was no way that we could do it. There was no possible solution except through prayer, through faith in God. And we're looking at this brick wall in front of us, and we realize that there is no way we can get through that. That this is it. 30 days, close up shop, leave the house, we're done. Through prayer, we looked, and then where we saw a brick wall, we saw a doorway. God created a way to pass through that wall. And this is where we find peace. This is where we find the ability to go on. And in the most recent thing that we were talking about in the our town, our nation right now is facing a brick wall. We are seeing the actual foundation of our nation, what is our blood, what is our breath of freedom being taken away from us, not by people with good intentions. This is evil. I don't care how you can slice it. You look at this, you see evil. We see Democrats, we see Hollywood, we see the entertainment industry, we see the media coming after our very freedoms. Yeah. And it looks overwhelming. And for years, many of us have seen this coming. And for years, many of us have been praying and asking God for a solution. To create that door in this wall. And what did he give us? He gave us Donald Trump. When we pray to God, and we're asking God for that door, for that way through the wall, and in our minds, in so many minds, we have, just like the Israelites said, they had a picture of the king they wanted. Well, God didn't give them the king they wanted. God gave them the king they needed for that time, the ruler that they needed for that time. Is Donald Trump a perfect man? No, none of us are. I love the guy. Yes, he just speaks the truth. He's not worried about political correctness. He's not worrying about saying the right thing. What he's concerned with is bringing America back to the fold, bringing America back to the freedoms we were guaranteed under the Constitution. Just because something is written on a sheet of paper, that doesn't mean anything unless the men and women of the country are willing to stand behind it. And part of that Constitution dealt with our faith, our belief that God gave us rights that no man or no government can take away from us. And this is the same with whether it's a Democrat or a Republican. If they're breathing, they're lying. I mean, it's not that we can say that, the Republicans are our friends, they're for us. No, they're not. The only man right now standing for America, for our faith, in our government is Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Yes.
We have to. And he was a gift from God. We have to pray for him. We have to unite ourselves together. And this initiative that you're starting with gathering all churches together is great. Just a quick thing. Look in Yardtown. We'll give you all the different editions, and we have the church page in there. Most of them have phone numbers. You can reach out to them. You can make phone calls, do a personal connection, and there's probably hundreds of churches between all of the books that we do that you might be able to reach out. And even if you can only grab 2 or 3% of them, it's a start. But our faith in God, our belief in the gifts that he gives us, like you said, the ability to wake up every morning, the ability to take breath, that gives us a chance to try another day, to try to succeed another day, to try to somehow bring this country back to its just basic freedoms of that, yeah, if we want to have a gun, it's okay. If we want to say we support our president, it's okay. If you want to wear a MAGA hat, it's okay. And that the evil that's out there is real. It is not pretend. You know, there is a deep state. And it goes beyond a deep state. I mean, you look at Jeffrey Epstein. I mean, this man was a bad man, but he was a wealthy man.
Was a beast.
He was, oh God, yes.
He was a beast.
And he had resources. He was set. He had documentation on some of the most powerful men in the world. And for us to naively believe that, oh well, Jeff hung himself out of desperation. No, of course he didn't. I mean, but this is the world we live in today. This is what we're given to believe. We are force-fed lies from our government, from our justice system. And who is the only person that you can think of that is standing up against us? Of course, it's Donald Trump. But I watch Graham. Dorothy, what's his name? Lindsey Graham. I want to say swear here, but I won't. I'd like to slap him right across the face, because for 3 years I've listened to him tell us, oh, we're going to get the bad guys, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, and we're still waiting. It's the empty promises of government. Government, that's all they can give us. They can give us words, they can give us empty promises. We want real peace, we want real solution, we want real salvation. We go to God. God is our salvation. Amen. God is our anchor. God is the door maker. And I got to tell you, it's really smart to have us eat before, because I would have wrapped this up about 3 minutes ago. But I just want to say it was very nice to be here. I thank all of you. You always have such kind words for Dorothy and I, more than what we deserve. But we do have to, as a country, we have to come together in prayer. We have to come together in our beliefs. We have to cross over and not worry about our different doctrines that we have between different religions. We are all, if there was one right church, if there was one right religion, Jesus would have told us. As it is, all of us that sit in the pews are sinners. All of us that sit in the pews, no matter what church or what denomination we belong to, seek salvation from God. We seek God's love. We seek God's favor. We pray constantly. And I mean, just I'm going to wrap this up. I don't want to bother you. But it always amazes me how we have access to the creator of all that is seen and unseen. I mean, you try talking to the head of AT&T. You try talking to Justin. I mean, he's so busy, he doesn't have time. But for the creator of the entire universe is no more than a prayer away from each of us. And he answers us. We don't go to voicemail, and it's like, yes, in 48 hours, 7 days, God will get back to you. He gets back to us immediately. His salvation, His mercy, His grace is nothing more than a prayer away for each of us. Right. And we see that with what we received, with who we asked for our president. We finally have a man who believes in God, who believes in the Constitution, who believes in all the amendments, the First Amendment, the Second Amendment, which are so important. And he's there alone. I mean, you look at this man. He's not getting support from Lindsey Graham. The verbal, oh yeah, we're behind you. But the first chance any of them have, it's right in the back. This man is standing there for us.
Amen.
Amen.
Keep him there. And he has to know we support him. And how we support him will be through prayer, through this initiative that you're saying. I mean, if we lose this next election, we've lost America.
Yeah.
There's no other way to look at it.
Right.
Okay, that's about long enough. We do get dessert, don't we? Yeah. All right, I just want to say a little prayer. I humbly ask God, that He keeps us free from sin, in good health, in good spirits, free from accident, pain, and injury. And that God gives us the courage to stand up for that is right, to forgive those who've trespassed against us, and to show mercy when sometimes mercy isn't even deserved. We learn by God's example. In God's name. And please, Lord, look after Donald Trump. In God's name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Let's give him another round of applause. Actually, don't sit down. Because actually, Laura just was suggesting that maybe you can do some Q&A with what you're doing and so forth. People are very curious about who you are and what you do. And
I was paid to speak. If anybody has a question, that's okay.
So yeah, because we are here as from around the community, but there's something special about this community, and there's some special people in this community, and you're one of them that really help make this area very, very special. And there's like an awakening happening in America, and there's an awakening here, and our town is part of that. People are reading that and realizing just how important our rights are, and we're world of faith as well as politics go hand in hand. So if anybody has any questions, and or
Don't all speak at once.
Bob, you mentioned that your market is in 9 different areas. Is it all like in the tri-state area? Or?
Yeah, we're in New York, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania. In the old economy, we were actually in, I think, 6 different states. But then as the crash happened, we had to pull out of certain areas where business owners had to make a decision: do I advertise or do I pay my rent?
Yeah.
Do I advertise or do I pay my electric bill? So for those 8 years, it was really tough, and not for nothing, but
From like 06, 07?
yeah. And once Donald Trump got in, I mean, we saw a huge change. We actually had 3 books in Texas that we were working. We had an untimely death in the family, and it made Dorothy and I reevaluate where we spend our time. And we were commuting back and forth to Texas. We were working down there for about, driving down there with, we had 3 books in the area.
Wow.
We drive down there, 23-hour drive, deliver the books, do sales work, drive back here, work up here, and life's too short. You want to be with your family and the kids, and so we shut down Texas.
Nobody wanted to buy the franchise?
Well, we actually had people who did want to buy it.
Yeah.
Dorothy has to say over that, and she would be like, "Don't you dare sell this person," because we'd be babysitters.
We'd be running, still be running back
and
to
forth.
Texas.
Women's
And
intuition, God bless.
yeah, wife rules.
So basically, how, like, I'm just curious, other markets reach like an hour from here, or?
Yeah, we
There's
go.
one in Mercer
Mercer.
County, New Jersey, which is.
Oh, Mercer, way down.
a little over 2 hours,
Trenton.
Yeah, right by
down there.
Trenton.
Right by Trenton. And I don't understand why he delivers all throughout the county, except he won't go into Trenton and deliver. It's not a nice
It's not,
area.
it's not a lost cause, but I was there
No,
2 weeks ago.
we have to get us, our cardboard stands from a business that, manufacturer of corrugated products down there. And you get to his place, there's the fence with the barbed wire around the
Yeah.
fence, and there's a guard that opens the gate to let you in, and he's just working down there, so it's not a great area.
Have you always been from this area?
Dorothy's family goes back generations up here. My parents moved us up here, God bless you, moved us up here from Maplewood, New Jersey in the late 60s, early 70s, and then I finished school up here. And it was a mutual agreement. The school wanted me out, I wanted out, so.
Similar to what Kyle said, do you see something special about this northeast PA area? I mean, some of us are newcomers to the area. Maybe you can give us a little background about what you're seeing here as opposed to other parts of PA.
What I've come to find in Dorothy, I know we both have, no matter what area we've been in with the book, every area is special. Every area has, and what makes an area special, and I'm not being cliche in saying this, is the people. And the areas that you find that are the most special are the areas where people have faith. It's the areas where God is a determining factor in so many people's lives. Because what's the alternative? Is the alternative to live with man as your ruler? Imperfection and saying, you know, you're okay, I'm okay, or to live in an area where people gain their values from God. I mean, so we have right from wrong. So we do know that what we do when nobody's looking is just as important as we do when people are watching.
It's not really a question. I just want to say the first time I saw you was at the Carham Festival, Run a River Festival, and I saw you with this wonderful clothing, and today I didn't recognize you. I expect you're going to be the same.
I don't want to we wear them at night.
Okay. I just want to say it was wonderful. Second thing I just want to say is that you also said the same thing there that you said this morning, that you're not a good talker, but I think as soon as you bring God in your words, you actually very inspire me. Both talk that you give there and you give here this morning, I was very inspired. So I just want to say
Those, just so you know, those the uniforms that we got from,
Heritage costumes.
and there was no woman size, so Dorothy had to take that, and Dorothy is so talented. She's a seamstress among all her other talents, so she had to take what was a man size and literally take it down to the sleeves and re-alter it to make her fit. Me, I just want to answer why. Oh, this is comfortable.
Yeah, I just want to say, growing up in the area, and I read this for years, so many stories in my head, so many excellent stories you've written, so many humorous stories, really funny stories. And so I'd like to see him make this into a book at some point,
nice.
There you go.
That would be nice. We're sitting on 25 years of 2 stories a month.
At least 10%.
I'd also say that you went through, I remember when people went after your advertisers.
Oh, they still do?
They wrote in, they still do.
They still do.
Okay, and you published some of the letters.
Oh, yeah.
And your responses were really humorous, putting people's letters that they wrote, trying to stop his advertising, and his responses to that.
Yeah, people quit writing after that. I don't know why. But yeah, it is, Dorothy and I, naturally, we carry car arms. But we have had people approach us in a very negative manner. People threaten us, people take swings at us. It's a very interesting time. I think from the 3rd or 4th edition, we've been having people trying to put us out of business. And believe it or not, when we first started the book, and it was just locally, we weren't as careful in our wording that we did, because we were just speaking to a local audience, and we really didn't care. But as the book has grown into, we're in very heavily Democratic areas, and the book still is successful, we choose our words wisely, but we still say the same thing. You know, I don't come right out and say all Democrats are evil and should burn in hell, but I imply it.
But they can be forgiven if they repent.
I don't think Democrats can. I don't make the rules. I think I read that in the Bible.
But like you know.
Only God can work.
Also, they don't have a sense of humor.
No, they don't.
No, they
No,
don't,
they
not
don't.
at all.
No.
Anybody else? Anyway, again, thank you for.
I'm sorry, I should have announced earlier. Now, our next event will be December 7th, and we confirmed the speaker yesterday is Cheryl Chemley of the Washington Times. She's an online managing editor, a great woman of faith, and she is also working to make Christianity brave again. So she's talking to and trying to gather the Christian faith to be active in the community. So totally aligned with Bob in what we're trying to do here. So I hope you come back in December.
If you give us that, we'll make sure that's in the book.
Oh, wonderful.
That'll be
Thank you,
here?
Bob. Yes.
All right.
Hopefully, we can, Thank you so much for coming, everybody. And I'll give you 25 years.
What are you doing today?